degrees. Keep this one a little bit short. It's been a long day. Priscilla's here. Cringer. So you guys, I got Cringer, I got Battlecat. Priscilla's Cringer, scared of everything. Fritzy's Battlecat. Of course, Priscilla's like this, size of a hamburger. She wants to go outside, but I don't think she has any idea what she's getting herself into. If she wants to go outside, she's not allowed outside, but that's how you get eaten by everybody. Such an easy target. Fritzy's a little bit better, but still, she thinks she can. Yeah, there's still, yeah. Anyway. Alright, hello there, kitty cat. Yeah, I think cats are the better, of course, maybe there's something else. Bats might be good at clearing energies. Yeah, I can say birds can do that to some level. But cats are pretty, that's why I have a witch that has a cat. Dogs can clear out the energies, but I think the cats are just probably still the best at it. Of course, some of this is their stuff, but, at least from their Galactic family, you take a cat and you mix it with a reptilian. It's kind of like a marriage. Then you add the pig to it and everything else. The bird energies, the fish. Oh God! I'm surprised we even get out the door. We can even walk anywhere. You take all that's plugged into us, and no wonder you have a psychopath here. Well, to some level. Of course, the world is not, not destroyed. It's kept around because there is potential here. Well, it has to get out of its adolescence first. Graduate. And you said that's, it has to, the planet has to stop drinking and smoking. It has to take more responsibility for itself, and that's the planet. That's not, and of course that's the majority of the human population. And you shouldn't have to have bars on the street. You shouldn't have bars at all. It might have psychedelics. I think there's some. You have to have something. So I know it's like, I'm not sure if that's better or worse, but there's always going to be something people are going to get high off of. I think psychedelics are a little bit better, but I could be wrong about that. But either way, the alcohol has to go at some point. When is another story. But that'll help society evolve. Of course, psychedelics are probably no different, but either way. And that'll help, move to the next dimension that people are looking for. So you'll read that energy of society. So you just, what you're going to do, put a big billboard out there and just tell people to grow up. Yeah, of course, they have to go through what they're going through too, of course. But the idea is remove alcohol, tobacco, at least the, cigarette energies, needs to go. It'll help a lot. And probably pharmaceutical drugs, probably a lot of those I need to go to. Whatever causes addiction. Of course, psychedelics have that too, but like I say, you can't get away from everything. So there's that, and also there's our alien selves, which for some of us. I can give you an example of that. I think I came up with a webinar, but also has been showing up recently. This is a version of it. This is not 100% accurate. Of course, other people have seen versions of this at some level, but it's not 100%. But this is not like a galactic Obviously, this is just like a cut down version of it, but it's similar to like a Pleiadian Nordic being. It's probably a better representation of that. I've seen them, but I haven't found one, or I don't know if I need to find one. This is like our other galactic selves. Of course, you've seen this stuff already. Of course, there's so much confusion here. That's why you have these cults and things like that. Just how we're going to evolve out of all this. I mean, some of us are incarnated or stationed here to assist humanity, and of course, sometimes we feel like we're being, you know, pushed to the into a lawnmower and get chopped up in all pieces. That's what it's been feeling like for quite some time now, which makes no sense. Well, I don't know, just yeah. Somebody in this new generations that are coming in, like in their 20s, maybe in their 30s too, but definitely in their 20s, they can't handle this reality. And so they're just taking time bombs. Not all, but quite a bit. I mean, who can handle this reality? But many of the new ones cannot. And they're just doing whatever they feel like, whatever excites them, and then they feel all, guilty, and it's just a disaster, a human disaster. So, yeah. And then trying to hide their secrets, and we can pick up on their secrets. Not that we need to, but you can pick up on, if you're contracted to know a certain person, you can pick up on certain things that are embarrassing and stuff like that. But like the relationship situation here, people trying to find relationships, like, and it's just too toxic too. Yeah, it's just. I don't know when that's going to turn around, but it's almost like we're kind of skipping a generation. It's like you have a generation of prosperity, and you have I hate to say it, but it's like a generation of duds. I mean, that's like what's coming in. Not exactly, but it seems like, a lot of people are turned off from relationships. I've definitely been through that. It's been just so disgusting. It's not worth it. So it does seem like you can't skip a generation where you have a generation of just not. I mean, majority are just not there. Just they already ruin themselves, and it's just throw away. Like even the life expected, how long they live might not be that long either, because they've ruined themselves, like in their high school years and stuff like that. So. Something to be proud of, right? The life of debauchery is not what it's cracked up to be. Oh, like, what is it, OnlyFans and all that? That's been going on for thousands of years, though. Now it's online. I mean, you had versions of it already, so it's just, nothing new, but just so societies. It's always been there. You have a better way of, it's the easy route, I guess, right? And then it's the life of regret. And you can't get out of it. Once you've gone that route, it's hard to go back. It's like, then you have all these stories, and they don't want to tell anybody. But you can pick up on the energy of it if you're around that type of situation. Yeah, some need to go into their darkness, that's for sure. But they can't find their way out. Yeah, they can't human very well. Not to say any of us can, but some really take it to a whole new level of, take it to the next low level. So, either way. But yeah, you can bounce your way back for sure. It doesn't have to be a complete throwaway society. Not everybody has to be that way. It's always going to happen too. It's just the way it is. Yeah, it can hit its low, and then those that can want to rebuild will find a way to rebound. It might take a long time, but it's out there though, so it's not complete. Yeah, it might be a generation of with a lot of holes in it. It might be not as strong as the generation before, because this new generation is coming from my generation, I guess. And I guess so, or something like that. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Well, yeah, no one knows how to deal with this technology reality that we're in. So, whatever. Yeah, well, I guess someone's constantly they're giving to their kids all the time, because here, take this, take that, and then you're never going to learn about anything. Somebody's put them in front of a screen. Yeah, it's going to make it. Well, then again, they're always in front of a television anyway, but now it's almost like it's worse. Either way, if that matters. So, so this is Galactic Wars, Space Jockey Energy. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, some of us are stationed here, obviously across the world, and it's even if you're not making a video, you're putting your energy out there for for a better life for others to find themselves at some point. At least you're putting it out there. If they take it on, is a whole other story. Well, if they find their path where the world doesn't get completely devoured by just anyway. Yeah, because they're making this place like not even worth being here half the time. It's like, you know what? If they don't want to go anywhere, who cares? I'll just go someplace else. If you want me here, I'm not. Yeah, they're not really showing their welcome. Let's put it that way. Like they want us here. Not that it matters. Cybertone.com, our private sessions. Maybe a schedule here. A shop. Yeah, the younger generation, at least it's somewhat a little bit wider, I guess. I don't know, man. It's up for debate. There's potential there, but damn. Of course, my generation sucks too, but I don't know. It's still kind of old school, I guess. I don't know. I don't pay attention to those people. So either way, yeah, the younger generation seems like they're just more vicious where they don't have to be. Like they're vicious and just because they brought all the wrong people into their lives, and they can't think straight, or they know everything, or whatever the fuck it is, and just high on whatever the hell it is, and whatever. Just it's hard for them to see anything. They might put up the persona, the face of they know what they're talking about, but not really. Personal lives are just, you can't delete stuff from the internet, I guess, huh? When they're making one bad decision after the other, at least for some of them, at least. So anyway, I guess somehow this world will survive. I guess. I guess we're going to Palladian energies. We'll continue some of this tomorrow, though. But I feel like the Palladian vibes, and we go from there, I guess. Yeah, I guess so. Or let's do insects. I haven't done those, I guess, ever. The more higher frequency bug people. Yeah. You don't hear about those guys very often. So, alright, what's this for? Greetings, we had the Insectoids from the 9th dimension. Yeah, many Insectoids do not feel that human incarnation is necessary. Yes, you can say we know everything to some level. Obviously, some need to. Well, there's different, in essence, with anything, that they see the human. Now, they can incarnate in a human world that's not as complicated as yours. But yeah, your world is like it's so difficult. It's kind of like crowning achievement. If you can get through this world, you get through anything, almost anything. And what you're got, yeah, you learn more about yourself. You can say what you're looking for, and that's why so many want to incarnate here. Yes, they might see the most disgusting side of themselves. They might even put themselves in jail or like an inner jail, which is sometimes worse than an actual, like, jail, like in your, the government throws you in jail. Sometimes the internal jail is worse. Because, yes, you might be able to feed yourself and entertain yourself, but you kind of hate yourself. And that self-hatred can slowly erode you even more. Like, yes, you can survive to some, well, that to survive is to stop beating yourself up. To allow more, yes, this is where the self-love vibe comes in. It's like instead of just hating yourself and thinking you're incompetent constantly, and there could be some truth there, but the idea is to build upon that. Yes, you might have made a mistake, but you don't just want to sit on that mistake forever. You want to keep evolving from it, keep moving forward. Just move on. Yes, and it really does help. It's like instead of just sitting in the middle of the book or a passage in a book of yourself, of your life story, and just sitting there as the world passes you by. This is why moving on is so important. But there's many here that are not happy with themselves, and then there's others that do horrible things, but don't really go anywhere. Well, because they're, yes, living in the morality is not so great. They're not necessarily going towards their looks and, like I say, appearances, but they're not really educating their talents. But that's something that you need to go through. It's like, basically there was a horror in that life, technically, by human standards, and not exactly too happy about it. So it's like next life, or next couple of lives, finally discover their own talents without, the inner talents, basically, that contribute to society instead of just giving to themselves. Because a lot of that's just giving to themselves, their own pleasure, part of their own ego, and so on, and just kind of a bit of a royalty or a snobbish energy towards others. You'd be surprised. So, but sometimes it's good to go through that. Can you just show this is my ugly side? Hey world, this is where I'm at, and it just. And sometimes, showing it to the world gets them to wake up to helps them figure out who they are sometimes. So incarnating here is, what kind of skeleton you're going to pull out of your closet here. There's more to it than that, but basically, it's how you build upon yourself. Do you leave this world with now if you live here with regret, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. It's really however you wanted to exit out of here, really. If you want to leave all those regrets and then have to work on it later, so be it. It really depends on what the soul wants to work on, but some do take the easy route, and it doesn't work out. It's a hand in a cookie jar, you can say. But then they go through all the, it's how it's cracked up to be. So yes, living with guilt and doing things for themselves, and then it's like maybe instead of getting, they get poison instead of what they thought they were getting. So, and many do have blinders on of what kind of world they really are in. Well, some feel, their own arrogance, you could say, they can take this world on, and kind of find out they can't. Yeah, it's like going out to a war. It's like there's a battle out there, you're a knight in shining armor. It's like, I'll take all those people out, and you go out there and you get killed instantly. It's kind of like that. Well, you get knocked out, injured, whatever. It's like, down for the count, and then have to kind of live with that for the rest of their lives. Sometimes they go out quickly, but the ones that are worse is when you you're wounded and you can't, you know, you have to grow from that. And yes, many of you are here to help others heal faster. You're kind of like peroxide for their self-induced wound for them to evolve quicker. So they don't have to incarnate here for 5 or 10 lifetimes. But if they reject it, they stay in that darkness. And that, a lot of times, is regret. So, but on your galactic path, so you get stronger. As long as you won't let them take you down, you continue to evolve. So, it's just up to you. It's up to you to. Yes, that's why moving on is so important. It's just like, even if you made 100 mistakes, it doesn't matter. Just learn from those mistakes and keep. The idea is to go on to your next adventure instead of just thinking about the past and where that's. It's not easy, of course, but it's like you're a tree who's been through a lot of thunderstorms and branches fall off. You think that tree's gonna sit there and just look at that branch? Now some do. Look at that branch. What happened to me? I've been disformed. And others are just like, this is like getting a haircut. Sometimes, usually it has to do when you have a clearing like that, you can think more clearly. So just cutting off the past and just clearing it out. You don't have to forget about it, but just don't let it interfere with your growth. You'd be surprised how much faster you can grow. And yes, being open-minded helps. It's a little scary, as some of you know. Some are in their comfort zone. But some of you are just, you're not in your comfort zone, but you're here to take some kind of risk energetically to grow. And that's a positive, for sure. It's not easy, of course. But others are not. They take risks, but it's dark risks. It's like negative risks. And then they get back what they're looking for. Oh, I was proven right, that person was bad. Well, you're kind of attracting the wrong person to begin with. And you can attract, and they're scared of people that can help them, and so on. So, it's like they don't want their medicine. They'd rather just be in pain the rest of their lives. And, you have to respect that. And then, and that's where a soul can get very stagnant and just grow very slowly. But either way, you never know. They might bounce out of it. But it's just the ego also causes a lot of that. And they can be in a manipulative relationship, and that's where delusion comes in, where they think everything's fine when it's not, and then they realize they made a mistake, and they keep telling themselves, which is half the marriages on this world, that it's going to be okay. They made a big mistake, so but sometimes it's good to cut that off and move forward. So. Blessings.